The upscale restaurant buzzed with the soft clinking of silverware and murmured conversations. Expensive perfume lingered in the air, but all eyes were fixed on the man in the corner booth. His presence carried a weight, sharp, tailored suit, commanding gaze, and a quiet authority that marked him instantly as someone powerful. He was Sheikh Amir al-Rashid, a billionaire whose name was whispered in boardrooms across continents. But tonight, his face was tight with frustration. The maitre d' had stumbled over his name, the waiter mispronounced his order, and worst of all, no one in the entire restaurant seemed to understand a word of Arabic when he tried to explain what he wanted. His English was broken, and though he spoke it well enough for business, tonight, tired and already on edge, he had reverted to his native tongue. Each attempt was met with blank stares, awkward smiles, and more mistakes. His hand slammed against the table suddenly, the sound making a few heads turn.
"Khalas!"
He muttered under his breath. "Enough!" He pushed back his chair with the clear intention to leave, his pride wounded, his patience gone. From behind the counter, a young waitress had been watching everything with quiet curiosity. She was not the kind to stand out. Her uniform hung a little loose, her hair tied back in a messy bun, her shoes scuffed from long shifts. But there was something about her eyes, alert, observant, and strangely fearless, that made her different from the rest. As Amir rose to leave, she moved before her mind could stop her. Approaching him softly, she said in clear, flawless Arabic, "Excuse me, sir.
"Please don't go."
You haven't even tasted our food yet. Let me take care of your order myself." The billionaire froze mid-step. His head snapped around, disbelief flashing across his face. The sound of his mother tongue, spoken perfectly, without hesitation, hung in the air like a secret unveiled. For the first time that evening, his anger faltered. Instead of storming out, he slowly sat back down, his sharp eyes narrowing at the waitress, as though she had just shifted the course of the night in ways neither of them could yet imagine. The other staff gawked from afar, whispering in confusion. None of them had ever heard the quiet waitress, Layla, speak anything beyond polite English greetings. Now she was standing with poise, speaking a language so rich and fluid it seemed to paint the air with authority. Amir leaned forward, his piercing eyes locked onto hers. "Where did you learn that?" he asked in Arabic, his tone sharp, testing. Layla swallowed but didn't falter.
"From my grandmother," she replied.
"She raised me after my parents passed. Arabic was her first language. She made sure it became mine too." A flicker of surprise softened his stern features. Few outside his homeland spoke with such authenticity, without the awkward accent of someone who studied from books. Her dialect was natural, intimate, and it tugged at memories buried deep within him. "Sit," he commanded softly, gesturing to the chair across from him. It wasn't a request. It was the voice of a man accustomed to obedience. But Layla hesitated. "I'm on shift, sir."
"I should be working." That answer made him smirk, the first trace of amusement all evening.
"Then serve me."
"Stay by my table."
"Translate my words so I won't have to repeat myself to people who don't listen." From the corner, her manager motioned frantically for her to comply, clearly terrified of losing the restaurant's most influential customer. Layla nodded, though her heart pounded. As she began taking his order directly in Arabic, something remarkable happened. The billionaire relaxed. The tension in his shoulders eased. He spoke more freely now, describing dishes he loved back home, flavors that reminded him of family gatherings by the desert, the spices of his mother's kitchen, and, while she wrote down his words, Layla asked questions, small, thoughtful ones that made him pause.
"Do you miss it?"
"The home you left behind?" His eyes, so hardened with power, flickered with something almost fragile. "Every day," he murmured. For the first time in years, Amir al-Rashid felt seen, not as a billionaire, not as a man of authority, but as someone far from home, carrying loneliness that money could never fix. And all because of a waitress who dared to speak to him in the language of his soul. But as Layla walked away to place his order, she caught sight of a woman entering the restaurant, a woman whose face carried the same sharp eyes, the same dignified features as Amir himself. And the way the billionaire stiffened upon seeing her told Layla one thing: this night was about to take an even sharper turn. The woman who entered carried herself like royalty, dressed in a flowing silk gown that shimmered with each step. Heads turned instantly as whispers rippled across the restaurant. She didn't need an introduction. Her presence demanded it. Amir's jaw clenched the moment his eyes landed on her. His usual calm authority faltered for a brief second, revealing an emotion that startled Layla: fear. "Layla," the woman said in flawless Arabic, her voice sharp yet elegant. But she wasn't looking at Amir, she was staring directly at Layla, the waitress. Layla froze, tray in her hand, trembling.
Do I know you?"
she asked cautiously in English, not sure why the stranger used her name. Amir rose abruptly, his chair scraping against the marble floor. "This is not the place," he muttered in Arabic, his tone dark, but the woman ignored him. She stepped closer, her eyes narrowing on Layla as if studying a long-lost puzzle piece. "Your eyes," she whispered.
"They're the same as hers. My sister's." The restaurant fell silent.
Even the clinking of glasses stopped. Layla's breath hitched. She had always known little about her parents, only fragments her grandmother had told her, that her mother had left her homeland under mysterious circumstances, that she carried secrets she never shared. Amir's hands curled into fists.
"Enough!" he hissed at the woman, switching back to Arabic.
"This is neither the time nor the place." But Layla's voice broke through, trembling yet determined.
"Tell me the truth."
"Who are you?" The woman exhaled slowly, then looked at Amir with defiance. She deserves to know. Her gaze returned to Layla. "Your mother was my sister."
"And this man," she gestured toward Amir, her voice rising with venom, "knows exactly why she had to run." Layla staggered back, her knees weak.
Her grandmother's stories, the missing details, the fragments that never added up, it all spun in her head. She looked at Amir, her heart pounding.
"Is it true?"
Amir didn't answer right away. His silence was louder than any denial. His eyes, once sharp and unyielding, now carried the weight of a buried secret. And in that instant, Layla realized this furious billionaire wasn't just a stranger she'd calmed with her grandmother's tongue.
He was the key to her family's past.
And maybe the reason it was torn apart. Layla's hands trembled as she set the tray down, her heart pounding so loudly she could barely hear the murmurs around her. The woman's words hung in the air like a storm waiting to break. Amir finally drew in a slow, heavy breath. When he spoke, his voice was low, but each word carried the weight of years. "Yes, it's true." Layla's chest tightened. Her knees almost buckled as he went on. "Your mother was my fiancée," gasps erupted from the nearby tables. Even the woman who had barged in went pale, her lips parting as though she, too, hadn't expected the confession. Amir's eyes softened, the fury in them replaced by something raw, vulnerable. "We were to be married, but the night before our union she vanished. She chose another life, another land. I searched for years, but she hid herself well."
"I thought she had betrayed me." His voice cracked for just a moment before he steadied it.
"I never knew she bore a child."
"I never knew."
"You." Layla's world tilted. The walls of the restaurant felt as though they were closing in.
"You're saying—" She could barely get the words out. "You're my father."
Amir's silence was answer enough. His gaze, filled with both pride and regret, broke her completely. Tears blurred her vision. The woman, still standing, covered her mouth in shock. "All this time," she whispered, "all this time we thought she left to escape shame. But she left carrying a child." Amir stepped forward slowly as though afraid Layla would run. I was furious tonight because the world is full of liars, opportunists, people who take advantage.
I didn't want to be deceived again, and yet fate brought me to you. His voice lowered, almost pleading.
Let me make this right. Let me give you what I should have given you from the beginning. My name, my protection, my love. Layla's tears spilled freely. She had grown up believing she was just a forgotten girl, raised in silence about her past. Now the most powerful man in the room, the man who could buy nations, was standing before her, asking not for her service, but for her forgiveness. The restaurant was utterly still. Every guest leaned in, breath held, as if the entire world balanced on the young waitress's answer. And though her heart ached with 1,000 unanswered questions, Layla whispered the only words she could manage, in Arabic. Father is
Ab, isn't it?
Amir's chest heaved, his hand trembling as he reached for her.
Yes, my daughter, yes, in that moment.
The furious billionaire, who had come in with rage and arrogance, stood undone, not by wealth or power, but by a simple waitress who turned out to be his blood, his greatest loss, and perhaps his greatest gift.